Is it possible that I might talk just a little too much about the Beatles on this channel? Hey everybody, this is TJR. I'm holding in my hands here a copy of a very obscure collection of Beatles covers entitled All This and World War II. Now this album is a soundtrack album to the movie of the same name. Now the movie, All This and World War II, was originally released back in 1976. This movie juxtaposes Beatles songs performed by a number of different musical artists, many who were, big at the time, against World War II footage and also footage from old World War II era movies from 20th Century Fox. Now, I remember reading about this film as a kid, and I wanted to see it. I was already very, very passionate about the Beatles, even at that young age. I had already heard Ambrosia's rendition of Magical Mystery Tour on the radio, and I'd also read that a symphony orchestra would be performing on some of the tracks. And when I heard this, my imagination as a kid just kind of exploded on what that might sound like. I also remember reading in print that the film was inspired by a dream that one of the filmmakers had. I don't know whether it was one of the producers or the director, but just that one of them had this dream where they had visions of World War II and heard Beatles music being played over those images. Interesting dream. Not sure if you want to make necessarily a whole movie out of that, but then again, I haven't seen this film. The movie died a very quick death in theaters, and it has never been released commercially on any other kind of home media like VHS or DVD. I, of course, as a kid was interested, but never got to see it. Over the years, I had mostly forgotten about this film, but rediscovered it while doing research on my Sgt. Pepper album in-depth analysis video. Finding a blog page with a little article about this film reignited all my memories. Now, from what I've learned, the original intent was to use original Beatle recordings for the film, but then it was decided that additional money could be made on the soundtrack if they had other artists record the song. This ended up being a good thing for them because the film, from what I understand, just failed miserably, and the soundtrack actually did make them some money. Now, I'm going to talk about the music in just a moment here, but first, I kind of wanted to discuss the packaging on this release here. It's clear to me that the producers of this film really had a lot of faith in this project and quite a bit of faith in the album. This album is very impressively packaged. It has this slipcase cover here. The record jacket slides out here, but yeah, got a cardboard slipcase cover, very, very sturdy, nicely made. And then there's this fold out here. Now, let me take this apart here. First of all, here is the fold out for you, front and back. There we go. Kind of a repeat of the same thing, like this, gatefold. And here is the interior of that fold out here. Some rather nice artwork here. The booklet is very well put together, made with very nice paper. The booklet features tons of very nice looking artwork. It includes lyrics, lots of great images here. Show you a little bit more of it here, just kind of random pages here. Lyrics included. It mentions that in some cases some of the lyrics have been rearranged because the songs may have been performed with the lyrics in a different order, so it says here that they've changed them around to preserve what you hear on the album. And there you go. But very nice, solid, high quality paper here, high quality work on the packaging. There's even a little sheet here on promotional stuff like t-shirts and stuff that you can buy from the film. I guess they felt they were going to sell a lot of these. At any rate, though, the film, from what I've read, lasted only a couple weeks. Apparently, it was savaged by critics, and audiences just stayed away from it in droves. So that's the packaging, but what about the music? Well, there are some standout tracks, but unfortunately, I feel like the album gets a little too mired in a sense of very workmanlike production rush. As much as I was amped to hear the Beatles performed by an orchestra as a kid, it turns out that for me, the use of the symphony orchestra is one of the album's weak points. Now, the tracks that are the best are the ones where the band or artist is just doing the tracks themselves with their own producer, their own backup band, or just the group that they're in. My mention of Ambrosia's performing Magical Mystery Tour is a good example of this, along with Elton John's fantastic 70s rendition of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, which had already been a hit on the radio prior to this soundtrack's album's release. Also of note is Tina Turner's standout version of Come Together and Help by Henry Gross. But these non-orchestra tracks are just a bit too few for my taste. Too many of the album's tracks feature just the artist singing along to the symphony orchestra. Some of these orchestra tracks work better than others. I did enjoy Helen Reddy's vocal performance of Fool on the Hill. I enjoyed Polythene Pam, performed by Roy Wood. That one works well because it features both the band and the orchestra. I think that works better that way. But too often, this approach of using the symphony orchestra as the main source of accompaniment gives the soundtrack a kind of production-like sameness for too much of the album's running time. It's almost as if, okay, we've got all these arrangements of the songs here for orchestra. All right, bring in the first artist. Okay, sing to the track. Okay, great. Bring in the next singer. Okay, sing this track. Okay, great. Cut that one. You see what I mean? A Day in the Life, as performed by a symphony orchestra, should be a real high point. Instead, it's a real letdown. I still think that having a symphony orchestra perform Beatles songs would be a tremendous listening experience. Unfortunately, this time around, the arrangements used are just simply uninspiring for the most part and not up to the task. Who knows? Perhaps all that wonder and mystery building up since childhood set me up to basically be disappointed with this release, but I'm not sorry I bought it though, because there are a number of really great standout tracks that I know I'm going to enjoy in the future. Now, since purchasing and digitizing this little vinyl beast here, I have discovered that there is this website called YouTube. Perhaps you've heard of it. Anyways, at YouTube I've discovered you can actually hear this entire album, and I've heard the movie is there too. I haven't watched the movie yet. Perhaps I will watch the movie. Perhaps I'll feel differently about this soundtrack after I see the film. And perhaps I might even review the film as well. Let me know what you think of that. Either way, looks like I could have saved myself $20. So have you heard this album? What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you disagree with me so much that you think I have no business living on the same planet with other human beings? Curious to know. Thanks everybody for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Take care. Bye-bye. I wonder if I should review that Sgt. Pepper movie that the Bee Gees and Peter Frampton did.